Who needs to break out in 2022? So let's assume all those guys we just talked about are not coming here. Who needs to break out in order for this team to continue to have success and rise up the ranks and compete for a Super Bowl?
Is this just pick one player or a
You
few?
can choose up to 3. How about that?
Up to
But
three.
go
Okay.
one at a time, because
Yeah.
I don't want you stepping on my toes now. Go ahead.
Look, I ain't a toe stepper. I'm a hot stepper. All right.
Yeah,
So
you're nimble. That's right. I got it.
I'm nimble in these streets. All right. So my guy right now that needs to have a breakout year because there's way too much slander. People are trying to bring in replacements that are not even on the same level as my guy, and that is BA, who I think is going to be WR1, Brandon Aiyuk in year 3. The great JM, we on the same wavelength. Look, Brandon Aiyuk has been running phenomenal routes the whole season. Brandon Ayuk's hands have been like Spider-Man webs the whole season. Brandon Aiyuk has superhuman juke moves, has superhuman leaping ability, and we haven't been able to see any of them because there was a quarterback that was too scared to make the throw. Trey Lance is not scared to make that throw. So now Brandon Aiyuk, hear me, So Real Sunil, I've been beating the drum, waving off all of these haters that trying to say that you aren't him. And I know you are him. But this is the year you got to do it. If you don't do it this year, there's nothing I could do for you, my guy. It's got to be this year. Brandon Aiyuk, breakout season, over 1,200 yards, 7 to 8 touchdowns, all pro-like numbers. That's what I'm claiming. That's what I need from Brandon Aiyuk this season.
Chat loves that. Miliano says Tabor Pepper. He's always said, listen, Tabor Pepper, I love Tabor. I actually had a chance to talk with Tabor. Jack and I, hilarious guy. That dude he's funny. He's one of those guys that you would love to just have beers with and go do stupid stuff. Like Tabor Pepper is that dude for sure. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Brandon Aiyuk, year 3. I think people write off players way too early. They see things like a Jamar Chase coming out and just lighting the league on fire, right? Obviously, they passed on CeeDee Lamb, so that's always going to be a comparison. But I look at Aiyuk, and I personally do feel like he's every bit or can be every bit as good as CeeDee Lamb. That's me personally. Like, I don't look at anything that CeeDee Lamb does and go, oh my gosh, Brandon Aiyuk could never. I really think he can be every bit as good. So for me, players get written off way too early. Year 3 is that real barometer for most players. Year 1, you're getting your footing, you figure some things out. He had a pretty decent rookie year. Year 2, people adjust to you. Takes you a while to pull out of that. I believe he did that. And then year 3, you've made your adjustments, and now the league is hip to what you're doing. You're hip to what the league's doing, and you are what you are at that point. Year 3, I agree. Brandon Aiyuk is going to have a monster year. I feel like he does need to break out in order for this team to go to that next level. Absolutely. And by the way, people keep talking about Christian Watson. Okay, I don't mind bringing in Christian Watson depending on where you get him. But if you want to talk about having rapport with Trey Lance, that was so 2019. This is about to be 2022 season. This will be the second offseason in a row that Trey Lance has worked with Brandon Aiyuk. I think those two are going to have a lot of chemistry, and I think that's going to help Brandon Aiyuk have a breakout year. I am full on board with Brandon Aiyuk. Now, I'm going to go a little bit of a step back. And I think that there is a big chance that Laken Tomlinson is not back. And even if he is back, I need either Aaron Banks or Jalen Moore, one or both, to break out this year. And I'm not saying break out to where they're stars. Like, we're talking about Aiyuk showing that he's a star in this league or can be. I need them to show that they are starting level players at the guard position and they can hold down one or both of those spots so that the 49ers can continue to be cheap in those positions and win games without paying a player like Lincoln Tomlinson, which again, you're going to have to let some of these guys go. You cannot always bring back every player. These are the decisions that are going to have to be made. I feel like either the Bengals or the Dolphins are going to be willing to pay a lot more for Tomlinson than what the 49ers can afford or are willing to pay. And one or both of those guys have to step up in order for the 49ers to continue to keep things going next year. Anybody else you want to throw in?
Yeah, I mean, I had first of all, I want to say I do agree with you when it comes to the offensive line guys. Like the 49ers have had a track record of making terrible decisions when it comes to drafting offensive linemen. Not only does it seem like they pick the wrong guys, but they also pass on the wrong guys, right? They pick a different player when they could have gotten a stud in the offensive line that they could have just never had to worry about that position for the next 10 years, right? Namely, picking maybe a guy like,
Creed
passing on
Humphrey?
a guy, passing like picking Banks instead of Humphrey, and the year before picking Kinlaw instead of Wirfs, right? So they've just blundered that position. So definitely to save face for, I think, an organization that is getting better at drafting overall, those guys do need to prove that the 49ers are just not 100% inept at drafting offensive linemen. So I agree with you. However, there's a guy, I don't